So I'm going to be talking about how to become an official Godot teacher, quote unquote. I mean a teacher of game development using Godot. I started working at the Meraki Life Academy just last month. I had to start a new YouTube channel related to that, and it's been a blast. It's been really, really fun. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how the current model of becoming a teacher or making money as a teacher is online, the current model is basically doing free to paid videos. Simply stated, you have to just follow a really awesome format and understand the culture. And the culture basically, Miz did a great video about how to make really good tutorials. And he points out a really good, clean format that if you follow it and you have interesting content, you'll be automatically, I feel, a success on the internet. Now, of course, since I can't follow that, I'm just telling you how it works. Step one, you make free, great tutorials. Like maybe 10% of my videos were this. And these great free tutorials will help you establish like a user base, a fan base, whatever you want to call it. And then ideally what happens is that if you have really good videos or just like, decent videos, I've seen some decent videos out there, you can then have like some type of paid content, some type of premium content. If you're really kind of savvy, although people feel kind of bad about this, you can have like 4 parts of your series, and then you have the next 6 parts behind a paywall, right? Now, the big difference between like this and how the free video content works, obviously, is that you have a paywall, and that creates an extra barrier to access projects, so forth and so on. Now, where this is also kind of frowned upon is that it means that you're going to have to consider like, how do I gate other content like project files, so forth and so on. And it's also kind of a weird situation when you think, yeah, Godot is free. Why are you creating paid content? And simply put, it's a matter of time. Unlike the free YouTube videos, if you are a good teacher and you care about your students, you're going to be giving them some type of feedback. You're going to give them like one-to-one, and you need to eat and survive. So you're going to take on the paid content for students who can pay. And usually that's kind of like an adult market. And like I said, no matter how old the course is, if you are taking these courses like on Udemy or some other service or site, and you leave a comment or a question related to the course, the instructor should get back to you unless he or she closes the course. Now, of course, the big issues with videos, whether they be YouTube or on a paid service, is true low beginners have issues with learning from videos. This has kind of been a big thing. So given that, I tried to show videos or have students look at videos, and the low beginners had tons of issues with just understanding the terminology. The speed of most of the videos was way too fast. And, just showing them how to slow down videos or rewatch videos was just too much. They literally needed a teacher to give live lessons. So this really amazing format of showing like relatively short videos within a certain period of time works for a certain set of users that are not necessarily beginners. And again, I did make course videos as well, directly related to the course, following Miz's format, and other really good YouTubers that have made content. But unfortunately, students were still lost. They still had issues following the tutorials, and they still wanted a teacher. So given that, it's something that's interesting, is that there are plenty of beginners out there that if you're interested in teaching like one-to-one classes, there's probably a good market for it. You just have to, be a good teacher and also know the content. So the big thing I found out is that my courses focus on literacy, not producing code. And I figured out that most people that do programming, they're really focused on production, just because the state of the industry this is my hypothesis, is that the way that the industry is, both on game dev and for commercial projects, you have to produce code, and there's not enough time to just say, hey, maybe we need to learn how to read it, not necessarily just produce it. The other issue, of course, is that they had issues with file management and basic stuff that I took for granted, having so much experience with Windows operating systems and how that relates to game development. So filing systems, right, in general, just like how an operating system runs and how you have to get your files in certain places, was really foreign and alien to them. Zip filing and just every kind of thing I took for granted was really hard for these beginner students. So of course the conversation led to should we use GitHub? And Alex, the kind of my lead programmer on a multiplayer project, we had this talk. I took him during his breaks, and he and I both agreed that Git in itself, not necessarily GitHub, but Git in itself is pretty code heavy, and you can easily mess up other people's files if you don't know what you're doing, and that will probably be 2 or 3 weeks of a course in itself. But no one would want to sit through a Git course. We plan to integrate it into the curriculum and then eventually have that show up in later courses, like the 3rd or 4th course. Now the other question is, who do I teach? Well, the funny thing is that, I have little kids who are saying, what is file management? And the youngest students I've been teaching have been about 9 years of age. And the little things, again, I took for granted are filing systems, so forth and so on. But once I showed them, the kids, what these file management systems were, they were able to get into it and were really active and could figure out all sorts of stuff and how to do it. Now, the factor related to this, though, is that, of course, if you do choose to pick an older audience, like teenagers, or even maybe adults, they themselves, not having experience with game development, may not understand the importance of file management. One of the students I had who was younger had to go try to get his mom's help, and even the mom didn't understand the filing format system in general and how it relates to Godot. I had to explain it in real time as a live class. And the same thing goes for teens and adults. So that's something else to consider, is that, there are a lot of people out there that just don't know things. And this gives plenty of space for teachers who are interested in teaching just the basics of computers, but again, teaching it with a fun goal of actually developing and making a game. So, and then the big thing, of course, is that I am not the best developer. So because I'm not the best, I'm a really good game designer, I'm not the best developer. I definitely am glad that Alex, as a friend and person who's been working on me with projects since last year, was really there to help me as a technical advisor to talk about like what it would take to really teach absolute beginners. And even though I'm a teacher of over 12 years now who's been teaching English, he came up with some really interesting stuff related to how long it would take an absolute beginner to learn stuff like Windows operating systems, file management, that I just thought wasn't that important until I started actually teaching it. What's great about Alex is he understands still what it means to be an absolute beginner. And then the final note of all this is, teaching in real time won't make the same amount of money as selling video content. I believe this, and I believe this based on just the numbers out there. Most of the great online teaching courses say create video content and sell it. And I think that is really good. But I think in this case would be the best is you have beginning courses that really focus on literacy and understanding the code and debugging, and then you move into course content, and we are creating course content. At the same time, one should not reinvent the wheel unless you really had to. It's looking at what else is out there and offering something that is different so that when students, eventually develop their skills and get really good, there'll be other materials and things they can really get into, like the YouTube videos, free content, or maybe other paid sources like GD Quest, so forth and so on. So that's it. That's basically been my experience teaching Godot officially as a teacher at an online program, getting paid money to teach as a teacher. It's been really fun. It's been really exciting. And I really want to close this off with a video, if you have like an extra minute, and you can see a highlight of a student actually getting to understand the programming and getting super excited.
Okay, the other one. Oh, okay, delete one of those extra bunnies. Okay, now back here, we're trying it again. Dot play.
Oh.
Dot play with jet. Okay, get those parentheses there.
Sorry, Mom. What now?
It's a function, right?
Yeah, okay, so parentheses. Got you. Oh, that's not parentheses there.
Okay, all right. And then I'll clear all my drawings, and I hope that's it. Okay, press play. I hope this works. Should just.
Whoa.
Ah!
We got it to work.
Oh my God!
Oh God, this is. Whoa.
How does that feel?
Man, that feels good.